go in 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Artisan Dev Podcast. We got Terrell Cloud in the studio with us, accompanied by Lawrence Sauce Beezy, as I know him at Sauce Beezy on Instagram. I got Amalie Lopez. Amalie, not Amalie.
Oh, check you out. Thank
you.
you.
I remember you saying that a couple times. So, Cloud, I want to go ahead and start off with just how you got into poetry, man. What was I know I was there, but
yes.
Everyone else, we went to high school together, but everyone else enlighten us on the how you started this art you do.
Yeah, so it's a pretty funny story. The original way I started writing poetry, there was a slam at my school, and basically the grand prize was an iPod Touch, and I had always wanted one. I know it's really silly. But I'd always wanted one, and I was like, man, I couldn't afford to get one, and my mom, didn't have a lot of money, so, and back then they were really expensive, so that was the grand prize, and I was like, man, I got to do something to get this, so I studied Dr. Seuss, believe it or not, and came up with something, and then I didn't end up winning the slam, of course, but I actually finished dead last, and the girl that won, her name was Lenora Brown, I'll never forget her. She came up to me, and she was like, hey, man, she was like, I know you didn't win. She's like, but that was something, man. You got to really keep going. If you keep going with that poetry stuff, you're going to make it big one day, man. You really got to keep going. And so ever since then, I just never stopped.
So what was the first victory or the first taste that wanted to, that gave you that hunger to continue? Because I know you ended up doing the alley slams, and you even went to Chicago on a slam team for a little bit or something.
Yeah, that was pretty dope too.
So what kicked all that off right there?
Well, really, it was the alley because, no, it might have been the redemption slam that I did because I actually did the following season because they had 2 slams a year. They did the second season, and I actually ended up winning that one, which brought me to the alley. They actually started a youth poetry slam at the Alley Theater, and then that's when I ended up winning that same year. Then they put me on the calendar, which was really, really dope. I got a chance to make it on the season calendar, so. It was really, really dope.
Oh yeah, man. Well, you want to enlighten us with a poem real quick so they can just give everybody a taste.
Yeah, I definitely can do that. Give you some sauce.
Yeah, so just a little sauce, a little drizzle,
a little drip. All right, check it. This one is pretty from the heart. It's about my mother, so it's a very near and dear piece to me. So check it. I am alive, but I once did not exist. I used to be a figment of my mother's childhood dream. I was developed out of a connection between a section of her and my father's DNA. As each strand intertwined like Amazon jungle vines, I became an embryo. The process of gestation added the rest of the ingredients to this highly potent mixture. It took 9 months to give it a shake and a bake to let the flavor rise and awake. Then I was born, ready to climb the rocky walls of this world. From that point on, I had to train for this obstacle course known as life. I couldn't be a weakling, so my mother began tweaking my attributes so that I could excel, taught me how to be a man and function like an algebraic expression until F over X became synonymous to success over success minus any additional stress like I managed to cause her. But I was no regular equation. I was similar to a calculus problem. Difficult to make equivocal, like trying to figure out the flip to a coefficient's reciprocal. She was a perfect mathematician. Her way of solving me was by adding an extra charge punishment, as if the answer to the equation was, boy, you better listen or find yourself in a world of trouble. She was a parental architect using her blueprint design scheme to construct my mannerisms and personality bit by bit and piece by piece from floor to ceiling. And all this time, where was father? He was there, but might as well have been a substitute teacher because he never really taught me much. His curriculum was never above the bare minimum, so I never really cared much for his opinion. And as the years passed, his presence began to dwindle like a fire that could not kindle, deprived of oxygen, starved of nutrients. But right there was mother. Ready to make the metamorphosis, she was now forced to play both roles. And each act of discipline was as important as a shot of insulin to a dying diabetes patient. She should have been a doctor because she seemed to always have patience. Waiting room to maximum occupancy. It seemed to be something from that of a well-written script of a movie. She won an Oscar award for putting up with the most bullshit, the hardest working matador of her time, not even including the 9 to 5, working her fingers well past the cuticle and bone to make ends meet like dating website get-together. She did it in any weather, whether intricate or inclement. She persevered like carrying a 10-plus pound baby for 9 months without having an abortion. She's a human form of medicine, injecting her motherly remedies. My mother has truly been damn good to me. Thank you.
Ooh. Snapping the microphones. Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Thank you.
Man,
Appreciate that.
So you don't have to go into it super deep, man, but so tell us a little bit about where you got I mean, obviously, it's about your mother, but like how, was your mother like the most crucial part of your childhood?
Yeah, definitely, because when my father left, I was like 5 years old. They got a divorce, the same old story, daddy wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so after he left, like she was pretty much daddy, so she had to not only teach me like the intelligence, maybe like how to carry myself, because of course being of a certain appearance, not to get into the the touchy subject, but being of a certain pigmentation, you have to carry yourself in a certain way at certain times, and if you don't, then things can get pretty ill. So she really instilled the ability to be just like a very articulate young man and like have respect and just to be like more sensitive, because and I was actually raised by mostly women. It was my mother, my grandma, great grandma, like aunts. So I didn't really have a father figure or anything. So,
hey man, grew up around a bunch of black women.
yeah.
That's how it is. I mean, you got to grow up and be young, gifted, and black. Like you don't have you can't be out here just being ignorant.
Yeah,
definitely. That's how like when you have them black women in the home that won't let you leave the house like that, like won't let you leave, combed and pants sag and all of that. Like my parents, they grew up in Gary, Indiana. That's where Michael Jackson from and stuff, and that's a hard chocolate city and stuff. And like you said, there's so many single mother homes out there in Chicago, and St. Louis, and plenty of places where I got cousins and stuff. And growing up in that environment, it's it gives you a thicker skin.
Definitely, yeah. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's really cool, man. And I do like I remember talking about your brothers having to step up, and they're or your older brother. Do you have more than one brother?
Oh, just one brother. Yeah.
Just one brother.
But yeah, he actually did the best he could. He kind of had the tough love mentality. He wasn't as like sensitive or anything. Like he was like super overly tough. And,
do you think that was good for you though in a little way?
I think so, honestly, because the stuff that he taught me, because I'm from Fifth Ward originally, which is not really a good area.
Fifth Ward,
Fifth
Ward.
Cashmere God.
The legendary, the nickel, the bloody nickel,
Get hurt out there at night.
Yeah, that's why. I stayed in the house, and essentially like that's why I ended up. I think I kind of gravitated towards something like poetry because I was able to fully get immersed in it, and I didn't really go outside or anything. My best friend was the dictionary and studying linguistics and how to structure words and, watching documentaries and, National Geographic and all that stuff, So.
That's actually funny, bro, because the first thing you told me whenever I met you, through Jacob and Mo, is that you told me, you're like, hey, bro, do you ever met anybody that ever sat and read the dictionary? And I was like, no. He's like, well, I do.
I remember that. It's crazy.
That was awesome, man. And honestly, bro, first time I met you, your head was shaved.
Yeah, dude.
I can't even imagine what you look like anymore.
The fade.
Yeah.
I still got pictures on Facebook.
I was gonna say I was trying to look at pictures, and you sent me pictures for all the posts and stuff for Coast to Soul, and you look totally different. It's like one you and then another you. There wasn't really any in between pictures.
I got one I'll send you. You're gonna laugh. I look like everybody used to say in high school. I look like Zero. They used to have like the fade, and I got like
Zero from Holes?
No, like Zero.
No,
like
Zero.
Mo City.
Zero the rapper.
Yeah. Which I was like, I bet I'll take that.
I was like, okay, that's cool.
The angle.
Right. Legend, man.
Man. Yeah, it's good because he's a legend. Other than that,
Yeah.
I look like no damn Zero. But if there was one person you might look like celebrity-wise, you could. Like, because everybody doesn't look like a celebrity. Like, you really look like you.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. Like, honestly. Like, nobody comes to mind. Like, you look like you could be related to Terrence Howard, maybe.
Okay.
That's about it. Like, you look like
So that sounds better than Zero.
Right?
You do look like Zero off of Homes.
Hey, that's lit too. That boy got the hair game. Like,
Dig 'em up on.
digging up. Hey, I be writing them songs too. I got
Drinking random jars of peaches, finding under boats.
got them
Two
lips.
talking today.
All right, guys. I wanted to ask you, so since I've seen you like get in the zone and like this guy Cloud will out freestyle anybody, and I mean that is as in you will get tired because he will keep rapping. No matter how good your raps are, he will
Where's
keep
that at?
going. He will keep going.
Oh
yeah.
man, y'all put me on the spot. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna do it.
A little bit, yeah.
Acapella freestyle. What you got, Cloud?
What's up?
Oh man, all right, I got you. Let's see.
You pulled that poem out of somewhere, so you gotta do it.
Let me see. I gotta.
Because I wasn't putting you on the spot, but then you're like, you put me on the spot, and I guess you're on the spot now.
Oh man. Okay.
Put yourself on the
We
spot.
did this on the stage earlier.
Alright,
Sorry.
let me see what I can do. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cloudstyle. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I get wild like African child sent from the West Nile. You know, I'm leaving you in denial. I'm really longer than the court trial. They're really thinking that they doing things all the while. I be a Rasta child. I'm blaze upon their herb strain, bringing the pain. I steady be bringing the pain like in the frame, like a window frame. They're thinking that they changing faces. I get higher than the equations of races and then thinking that they Asians. I do this shit for all occasions. I lock bars like incarceration. The elation, they got me high off the inhalation. Like,
Who was making the beat in the back? Was that Christian?
know.
Christian and Kennedy?
hey, that was lying.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sick.
go ahead and shout y'all out. What is that? What was your handle at Oxygen?
Oh yeah, Oxygen. It's GEN, like generation.
Oh,
Inside and outside.
Wordplay.
it's
sick.
wordplay.
So we're all talking
And that young
about.
Prez, young underscore Prez,
Hey, Kennedy Jones the third.
double underscore whatever.
That's the thing.
Right.
Or if they ever see a 3-Lee in the mix. 3-Lee.
All right, Klaus. So what's one of the main things you do to get in the zone whenever you're writing?
So to get in the zone,
What helps you get the creative flow going? Because some people out there, you know, that's one of the biggest things they struggle with. Is like, I don't know how to start. I don't know how to get the mood right. If you even need a mood, like how do you?
with me, it's more of like an appreciation. Like it's kind of like, I never really got to play many video games growing up, but I see everything almost as like a video game. Like it's like a challenge. So like, especially with like if I'm writing a new piece, like I usually just like see it as I usually start with a phrase. So whether it be a poem or a song, it usually starts off with like some type of like sentence. Like for example, with the poem I just did, the mother piece, I was like, I am alive, but I want to not exist. It used to be a figment, and like I usually start with one sentence and I expound upon it. So like I write everything almost like a crescendo in a way, like it builds up from an original point, then it continues to expand until it just you know.
You kind of just lay a foundation and then just let it do its thing.
Essentially, yeah. And sometimes I mean it'll be situational things. So it's like if I go through like a traumatic situation, I may use like the stress from that situation to boost or to like catapult me, you know,
Living truthfully in imaginary circumstances.
Yeah.
Which you should, you know, all that stress, anxiety, that doubt, man. You gotta turn that into fuel, man.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Can you relate to any of that creative process, Amalie, for your
talking to me?
poetry? I am talking to you.
I most definitely can. I was talking earlier though that I've always been a writer. I haven't always necessarily done spoken word, and there is a very big difference, and you don't learn that until you do it. I almost did a piece tonight that I've only written, and I've tried to get up to doing it, to read it, but right before I do it, every time I'm like, no, it's not right. It's not right. But I feel like everything's projection and translation of something else, and 90% of the time it's deep, dark shit, and you have to really do something with that. And I know I'm such an emotional person. It's taken me years to get past a lot of stuff that I'm still not past. Mm-hmm. And I either channel my emotion, like even when I'm mad, like I either get like, I'm gonna honestly just like flip the fuck out, or I'm gonna cry. You know, so and I know I can't be acting like that as a mom and as an adult, and as you get older and you go through shit, you definitely learn to react differently. So I react a lot with my words. And I think you can probably relate to anybody who writes. Like there's a lot of shit I don't say compared to what I do say. And I try to write on a level that's really that everybody can understand. I take a lot of time to do that because I'm constantly working with people who want to know how do I write or this and that and seek my advice. And I can honestly say I like working people up to write more for themselves more than I like doing my own poetry. I'm
sweet.
strictly here for other people. You know, and that's helps me.
Yeah.
And it's made me write more and created all sorts of different connections. And, you know, you get really tight with your vulnerabilities. It's like
Yeah.
super close. And you just gotta get rid of them.
Well, it's cool though. It's cool that you use that energy though to not only create your own art, but to push people to, you know,
Definitely.
get out of that shell a little bit.
No one thinks they're a writer, and I tell everybody, I'm like, you're a writer.
I
You just don't know it. I said you just don't know it.
I hear that all the time. I get whenever I'm drawing places, they're like, "Man, I wish I could draw. Or I wish I could draw it." I'm like, "Well, start,
Yeah.
man." Like, well, my favorite example I like to use is that I have the guitar to this day, but my great grandfather, he passed away in 2014, but he started playing guitar when he was like 70 something, you know, and he died when he died when he was 82 or 83, you know, so he was actually pretty good by the time he passed.
That's cool.
Yeah, so and he started singing karaoke a lot more, like when he married his second wife, because and my great grandmother passed away, and he was real sad, you know.
Yeah.
We're real worried about him, but then he remarried, and as she at least gave him like, you know, the 6 years we had left, you know, for him, because that grief,
man,
especially when
that's a
someone's already
blessing.
elderly and their health is low, that grief
That's
can take them
super
out. You know?
beautiful.
Yeah,
To even find that again a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
catch
it's
that
super.
shit.
It's never too late, everyone.
Yeah.
You can
All
start
that
whenever
cliche
you-
stuff definitely comes into play with poets.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
we're all super sensitive and act like we're not.
Yeah.
We say the dumb shit. Except for like to be or not to be. Nobody says that.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, Emma, do you have like a short piece or a piece you wanna
Short.
Yeah, or whatever you want to do. It don't matter.
I have like I love you poems or fuck you poems. That's what I call them.
Ooh,
It's
we should flip a coin.
You know what? This is the piece that I wrote that I haven't read.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just
new
do
shit.
that. And yeah, it is new shit to
New
read.
shit.
And I don't got it. So pardon me. And I don't have a name for it. I was talking earlier. You don't have to have
Untitled.
titles for your poetry.
Never.
I really just don't even think about it because I'm writing so much. And I got like 2,000 notes. And someday there'll be something.
It'll explain itself without a title.
Yeah. Okay. I get super awkward.
No
I don't
worries.
care how many people. I'm like, yeah, you're awesome. I don't do that to myself. Very rarely take my own advice. Please don't tell him anymore or why. Do not indulge him with the same reasons others have, only to let yourself and your vulnerability be neglected. You think he's here to heal, but he is eating you alive, feeding on your oblivion, and you're letting him. His facade is transparent, like watered-down paper, words completely drenched in oceans of sorrow, tearing and disintegrating. There's no particular pattern that can be seen as it crumbles, just blurry, faded and bleak letters forming broken sentences and false emotions. Their meanings dissipate as fast as his passion does. He will snack on your carcass, leaving barely anything left for even the bugs, waiting between the grains of soil closeted by that open grave you so willingly plunged into. To live in a realm of constant rebirth, he must die many times, and he takes with him many loves. He is savage and beautiful, so how could he possibly answer her questions? He is toxic but longed for, and even he still doesn't know why, and you are complacent and easily satisfied with mediocre passovers, only allowing subjection to further persecution while he's just living for the sweet that lingers right on the tips of tongues, those bitter taste buds ignored as he swallows his own endless excuses. Thankfully, the ground on which everything that is dead and devoured will eventually get showered with nutrients again. Once rejuvenated and bright, he will try to pluck from the garden you sprouted inside of, but your thorns will keep him idle. I assure you he knows now that he is not worthy of roses.
Ooh. Room full of snaps. Snap, 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 snap.
Really weird for me, but thank you.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's lengthy. There's really no in between. It's like 4 sentences or 4 pages.
Yeah, well, that's cool though. That means you got a lot. Like that's a good flow because whenever I highly enjoy whenever I get started on a project and then it just keeps going and like you feel like
Yeah.
you can't stop.
Just kind of develops
Yeah.
organically.
Because you know you're really going to when you're like, all right, well I'll take a break after I do this, but then you do twice that and you're like, well I'll take a break after I do this. I think I'm almost done. I almost got it. And you keep going and going and going, but. I don't know. Sometimes whenever I catch myself on that, even though I should quit or it's getting late, like I just need
You
to
gotta
follow
do
through
it.
with that energy
Yeah.
because if I stop, if I go to bed earlier, if I stop, I'm later thinking about it. I'm just like
I
You
feel
know?
like it's important to just make sure you're constantly doing whatever you're doing. Like I write, so I'm writing on everything. If you draw, you draw on everything. Like if you do music, always be listening to music or always be reading. And it's just important to project that in everything. So that's just kind of what I kind of do. I do it in the shower. Like that's when I write a lot. For some reason, I'll be taking a shower and then I'm like, I gotta get out. I gotta get on my
Yeah.
phone, but everything's wet and I'm writing and it's like ridiculous. But it's so important to just stop what you're doing. Or I'll call and I'll be like, hey, babe, give me my phone. I gotta talk on my phone, but don't talk to me because you're gonna mess up what I'm thinking. And if you talk, I'll forget it. And then I'll get back in the shower.
Well, that's actually cool because I'm not going to be super specific because I'm not sure who did what study, but I have read a couple articles on studies about the mind state people get into when they're in the shower.
Really?
Well, just in the bathroom in general,
makes
whenever the
sense.
door is shut, because it's one of the few places where, like, just culturally, just what we do with the bathroom, you're isolated from
Yeah,
everybody.
you're alone.
And it's like one of like the few alone times, but in the shower, you get that veil of like, well, nobody's allowed to come in here because I'm taking a shower. So like your body just subconsciously just sees that as a place to think, and that's how people can get lost in the shower. Like
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, or if someone's like in a sad mind state or something, they've been in there for an hour. It's like they're probably just standing there with the water.
Boiling over them.
Yeah. So,
Or I know that some people say that's a chick thing, but it's a thing. Boiling.
I've done
yeah, it's everybody. I do that. Yeah.
it. I do that.
You're
Yeah.
snapping for boiling shower.
Yeah, it's never.
Me too.
I fell asleep in the shower. Look-key.
You be careful, man. You
Hey,
can
be
drown with
careful
like a
with it.
teaspoon
Like
of
standing
water.
up in the
What's
shower,
this
like-
bullshit to
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, yeah, I can do that. I can like fall asleep standing up. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I've
crazy.
only seen like one person do that, and it's just like.
I've done it before.
I've seen Cloud do some impressive things while sleeping.
I thought you were gonna say in the shower.
Yeah, I've seen him
That's where
do
we
some
were
impressive
going.
things in the shower.
Do you still have that picture?
No.
That picture?
Oh
The
yeah,
stacked picture?
yeah. Well, we did that, but the funniest thing was in the old apartment we had in Austin. I set my uniform because I worked at like Shake Shack in Austin. I had my uniform on the counter in the bathroom.
Shake Shack.
But Cloud could kind of like sleepwalk a little bit sometimes, but it was actually kind of cool. But he accidentally took my uniform because he thought it was his clothes in the bathroom. So I was searching everywhere. I was just searching and searching. I was like, bro, where's my uniform? He's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know where it's at. And I was like, man, come on. Like, I got to go to work. You're like, I don't know. And then he got up off the couch and he was laying on top of it. And I was like, but that's one of my greatest memories, man, because it's like, it's super cool because now I know that if I need to like hide something, I got Cloud like on the
Yeah.
side waiting for
On the
me.
lookout.
Do you remember?
Yeah, on the lookout, man. You're looking out for me
Hiding
even when
shit from himself.
yeah. You're looking out for me even when you sleep, man. I appreciate it.
Already.
That's love.
It is love, man.
One love, man.
Yeah, there you go. Well, man, Clyde, you got so what you got coming up? Are you working on like music wise, poetry wise?
I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. I'm going to Black Beach this year, which is gonna be dope. It's it's basically with all the historically black colleges. They all get together at this beach in Biloxi, Mississippi. So I'm doing that. I also recently got contacted by a tax service, SM Tax Service, and I'm going to be writing their first official jingle. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to market myself to other tax services and companies. So
There you go.
yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, it's kind of some stuff. So I'm working on a lot of stuff though.
All right, so what's the do you have like a new poem you're working on?
Honestly, I've been focused mainly more on music, but I'm trying to transition back into more poetry because I got hit up recently also by some people, like just some places in Houston, to start doing more shows, and like I want to definitely come out to Galveston more often and come out more. So because that was what got me started, So want to get back to my roots in 2019. So
Yeah.
2019.
So well, man, Galveston's an untapped vein, man. There's a lot of art here, and there's a lot of development that needs to happen down here with the scenes, just the art scene in general. That's one of the reasons that wanted me to kind of make this podcast is because I was just working in downtown. You see all the artists that live down there, and they're like everybody's doing their thing, but it's like there's not like an outlet. There's not somebody connecting the scene. I mean, even if it wants to be connected, but I would
artist round table.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people in Houston, so I'd love to get more people recognizing Galveston as a place to come. For the art walks or like the multiple festivals we have downtown. And we have like the #2 Mardi Gras like in the U.S. I don't know.
it's pretty lit. I heard it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's coming up. Yeah, that's like in 2 weeks, isn't it? It's like the first weekend of February.
I won't be doing
Or
it.
did you say it was the last
I've
weekend?
done
of
so many
February?
years. Last
Last weekend of February.
I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
come
it's super
to
crazy.
Be a
There
lame
was
Galveston person. hang out.
yeah. Well, actually, the first year I moved here, when I was like, oh, I'm see what Mardi Gras is like, is when the riot police came and they threw
Oh,
a bunch
shit.
of like tear gas and everything down.
What?
Yeah, well, it used to go
Things
to
are real.
it used to go to 2 a.m. and now it only goes to midnight because after they
That's
brought
true. Yeah.
the
they
riot
changed it.
police, yeah, super
That's
cool though. That's how
insane.
you're doing something right. I don't know, partying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going ham.
They don't play none of that late at night here in Texas. So
Oh,
they
no.
Bust out
what
them
they do in
cages.
Louisiana,
They'll
like
throw you in the
that
drug
Mardi
cage
Gras.
downtown.
Yeah, I was about to say they tried it with Texas. We messed up. We lost our privileges. We got grounded. we got a
That's why We ain't
curfew.
got no casinos either.
Nope, we got curfews.
There's actually one casino I think in Texas, but it's like in I think it's East Texas if I'm not mistaken, but it's like super far. Like
Man, I don't think they have to be able to have table games. You have to be on water. Like the casino has to be on water if it's not like a state where it's legal. Like 'cause
Yeah.
the other casinos they can have slot machines and stuff. Like you can go to a gas station and play slots. Like they got that everywhere. But when it comes to those table games, it's got to be on some water or a
I'm
state
playing
where it's
none of that
legal.
shit.
I didn't know that.
There's, like,
I'm not
poker
liking the
games
money. They
happening,
can't have
like,
my money for that shit.
on the water. Just random, like Lake Travis or some shit.
Yeah.
Man, I like going to y'all catch me at Kashada.
Shout out
Right
to
over
Shada.
there.
The LaBerge, like,
Yeah.
definitely goes in. I hope I said that right. LaBerge.
Yeah, the LaBerge.
Laberger.
LaBerge, Island
LaBerge.
Capri.
Their buffet is amazing.
Hey, I was
by
about
the
to
way.
say like in the middle of my hometown in Oklahoma, there's a big ass casino. So the Choctaw Casino.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it's so
We went
big.
to-
That's my Native American tribe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what my family.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Choctaw
Durant,
tribe.
Durant, Oklahoma, man, right there. Well, it's cool. A lot of people. I mean, the one thing I don't like about it is like it's so big now that it causes enough light pollution for the whole town.
Yeah.
That like you can't see the stars anymore. But
That sucks. Man.
but it's a very low income town. It's a town of like 1,400 people, something like that. And it's really cool because it's finally an opportunity where people could make like 12, 14, even up to like $20 an hour jobs, like in the middle of the small town.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mom works at the casino, but but it's a place that
Still jobs.
because even a casino like that in the middle of that small town, they're still pulling in like a mil or over a day. Like they're and because they just built a hospital like down the road from it, like you have to be like
Yeah.
Native affiliated to even go to the hospital. like they're just
Exclusive.
dude, yeah, they're making their own little like hub, man. It's really cool.
That is cool.
It's super cool. Like I was stoked. Like I got family over there because just being in that general area, everybody's got a little blood on them. At least my family, So it's actually really cool. It's brought a lot of opportunity, but I thought it was brilliant because it was a casino at first, and then they opened an arcade on the other side for the kids. So your
Oh,
kids
that's
can
cool.
blow your money playing games while you're blowing money playing their games.
Hey, corner the market. There.
Yeah, dude, I was about to say.
It's pretty lit.
That should be crazy, bro. Everybody's staring at a screen.
Yeah.
Man, I was just talking to somebody the other day about how ice caps used to look in some of the older like encyclopedias, like the ones that be the huge sets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
They're hard to
there's
find.
barely any big ice caps anymore. Like a lot of has melted. Like I mean, it's
pretty crazy.
It's
man.
crazy out here, man. Wow, man, tell people to recycle.
Yeah.
You just plugged that in
You know,
there. It was great.
make sure
You just
everybody
said talk about ice
recycles
caps
and everybody
combine.
use their turning signals, please.
That too,
I
man.
was gonna say I actually work for an energy company
That's the
now,
thing.
so
It's like
definitely
people
about that
think it's illegal or
recycling.
something.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah, I heard you can do there's actually was like a scene of surfers that go out to the glaciers, and whenever the big ice chunks come off, they surf they surf the wake that comes off of it. That's like a scene, and I was like they're in like these full body
That
wetsuits.
sounds outrageous.
That sounds super like
The
gnarly.
wetsuits that they wear, they can only be in the water for like maybe about 20 minutes, like before hypothermia starts happening.
They really can't be in there that
Cause
long.
that water is super cold. Like the suits that they wear is like it's just that your body temperature is getting too low.
Yeah, like they basically just wait, they hop in, get the wave, hop out. It's it's super crazy though. With the just like the waterfalls coming off of them. I don't know. I want to see I want to see a glacier or an iceberg in person.
That would be pretty cool.
I want to see the Titanic murderer.
I think I want to go anywhere that cold.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm cold in here. Y'all see me? I'm like shaking over.
Well, I like the idea of
surfing off them in 20
icebergs
minutes.
because of the Freudian psychology. Like they talk about the id, the subsurface, and they have like the waterline acts as like the peak of your consciousness, and then you have the inner part of yourself that's like your ego, and then there's like the primitive form and stuff. So I kind of think that's cool about icebergs. Sorry, I just like
metaphors.
Oh, metaphors.
There you go.
And that brings Cloud's
And then
daily
my friend
total
with
to
an iceberg
1200.
poem.
Yeah.
That's the daily double today.
daily double.
The day of metaphors.
I'm saying.
That's what Tuesdays are for around here.
This man just paralleled the body to an iceberg.
I'm about that. I'm always like, hey, you don't get it, but that means something else.
And that's only the tip of the iceberg.
That is actually the tip.
Man, look, me and him gonna remake the Twilight Zone.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna work on it. I'm working on the screenplay.
You can't just say something like that and not do it. So
Yeah,
we'll
what's
be
up?
waiting for that one.
What's up? Yeah, we'll get in on that.
I seen every episode.
2019.
No, I mean that'd be dope.
Man, like we gotta. It depends, bro, because I want to make a comedy show too. It can't be just all depressing.
Yeah,
Because Twilight Zone could be depressing.
It can't be,
That's
man.
funny as shit.
Like have you seen when the guy's like he's like the last man on earth, and then he only has one pair of glasses and his glasses break.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not
It's
fair.
not fair. There's crazy episodes of Twilight Zone. There's an episode of Twilight
So
Zone where a
nostalgic.
kid like turns a man into a puppet like instantly. Like literally in a town, like he kills the crop.
It's like reverse Pinocchio.
It's like a kid has special powers, and everybody in the town is like, they end up having to conform and listen to him. It's like some Children of the Corn stuff.
It's so cool to watch like how they got those effects so early on. Like that's what's so wonderful about watching it in cinematography then, and it was so like revolutionary in a lot of ways. And I feel like anybody at any age is totally engrossed with that.
I thought one of the funniest
So
things.
go ahead, do it.
Oh yeah, do the comedy show, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No pressure.
I was able to get I got a 2-year degree in screenwriting and video editing when I lived in California, and I've worked on plenty of projects and stuff just with TV. So I mean, I've just gotten used to like, being able to work with people and bring ideas together. Because especially when you're writing a script, on top of producers and what a studio will think, like it's your baby. So it's like if you're gonna make a child or take care of a child with somebody, make sure that you got people that are gonna be impactful in his life and whatnot and help raise it. Like when you're talking about a screenplay, page for page, you have to move to the next page with purpose. You have to have an idea that's carrying people. You can't just have something that's boring. Like even when it's in poetry, like you taking people on a ride, like no matter how long the ride is, like it's a story,
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to screenplays, like I've always enjoyed entertaining people. So I really want to further in my career. I want to at least make black versions of like classic films like Casablanca and In the Heat of the Night and Key Largo and like Once Upon a Time in the West and like movies like Boys Town. Like people don't know about like stories like Boys Town. Like that was when James Cagney was really young, and it was about this orphanage that took care of boys in Chicago who were low income, and they all lived there under this priest, and he took care of everybody. And there was a story about him saving a particular rough child who was from the streets and didn't want to listen and stuff, and helping reform his life. And I mean, that story in itself, like that Boys Town, the movie, it came out in like 1940 something.
Yeah.
Like it was a blockbuster hit. Like everybody was seeing this movie, like it was big. And a black version of that, I think, is just so freaking overdue. Like, I mean, how often do you hear the black perspective of being an orphan, let alone a slave, let alone let alone a maid, or let alone a black athlete? Like, we want to get that stuff out there. Like, I remember earlier when he was talking about the pigmentation, like what you got to do and how you got to act. And man, when I tell y'all, just from growing up on the south side of Third Ward, like it's real. Like when you're a black man, like you just born with a different target on your back. Like no matter what you go through in life, no matter, like, I'm talking, if you're brown skin and you look like you're Muslim, you're brown skin, you look like you're from South America, like it's just been a different target, as far as in the United States. Like it's just a different thing. So like, especially in the South, like, I'm talking, I've done like real plays and heard real stories of people surviving like just terrible nightmare scenarios here in the South, man. Like stuff you couldn't even write, like stuff that Jordan Peele would make into a scary movie. Like I'm talking that shit. Like, and it really happened in these real Hollywood stories. So I mean, it's great that it's 2019 though, and we can change a lot of that. When you say there, Cloud.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So clean there.
Hopefully change it. I actually have a story that kind of was crazy. I got stuck in Oklahoma, believe it or not, when I went to this trip in Denver, Colorado, and like we all were. It was like me. It was like me. This like a couple of Hispanic girls. This like Indian girl. Like this like Russian girls. Like a really crazy mix of people. And we were at the gas station, and they were like they pulled up basically. He was like, I don't know if y'all want to be in this town. The next thing you know, they like pulled up with the Confederate. Yeah, they like had the trucks, and they were like, y'all in the wrong damn town. And like, yeah, it was like crazy. And we had to like figure out. And luckily the mechanic was fast, so he like was able to fix the flat. He just like dipped. So, yeah.
Crazy, man.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
it can get crazy out there on the road.
It's real though, man. You gotta be careful.
Definitely. But, I mean, I feel like there. I mean, also on the contrary, there is kind of a very subliminal thing that's happening too, because we are more unified than we've ever been, like regardless of like what's shown in the media. If you go, I mean, just being in Austin, Texas for the 3 years that I lived there, there's crazy unity. Like you go to the concerts, everybody's chanting, and like, everybody's standing up and everybody's holding hands, and it's black and white, and everybody, is like super immersed. So I feel like there is a jaded perspective, and I feel like we should show more of like the positive aspects.
People try to focus on the negative. They try to make money off the negative.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy with media nowadays. I mean, they just make so much money off of just, oh, we're separated. Oh, somebody said this negative and this negative, and now we have two other people right here. We're going to talk to them right now. Hey, what do y'all think about this negative thing that happened? Say something negative. Mm-hmm. Okay, negative. like
negative.
Yeah.
Talk about how you were scared. You were scared, right?
I'm saying, negativity. Like it's crazy.
It goes on and on.
And it don't really matter nowadays what news station. I mean, I tell everybody to watch Vice. Vice has 100% essential stories, essential news. Keep up with Vice. They, everything that's going, relevant going on in the world, you keep up with them on there. Like CNN, CBS, MSNBC, all of those networks, it can get wishy-washy because you're talking about people that obviously got to get a lot of stuff approved as far as stories. But also, like, it could be very blue. It could be very red. And, I mean, nowadays in 2019, one's not better than the other. Like in politics, it's so cloudy right now that it's really just about people being able to have better discernment between right and wrong and what people are saying, and it's less about color. Like it's just less about color. Like from the beginning, it's been less about color. Yeah. Like I mean, I it sounds preachy. Like I mean, my grandma wants me to be a preacher. I mean, because I've naturally always just talked like this, but I mean, it's just crazy how people don't take into account that we are actually doing better than we were a couple years back. Like there's more camaraderie with people because of technology. Like because we can understand people's perspectives easier. Like we understand if we grew up in a classroom of 20 kids or 40 kids. Yeah. Like I mean, because I graduated 2014. My smallest class when I was at Lamar was 42, and I before that I grew up in private school, so my biggest class before that was 12. Yeah. Oh, wow. Exactly. So that transition of that was just crazy. Like, because was already doing acting and stuff. But I mean, when you get to public school, I'm in class, I'm seeing people doing lines. In class, like if people selling, I'm seeing snacks get sold over here. I'm seeing a girl over here who's pregnant. I'm like, if this is GTA
One
right now,
teacher for 40 kids.
I'm like, this is a level on San Andreas. What I'm CJ in this classroom right now. What's going on? Like, and it's, CJ. I'm saying, and they were just living their lives, and it's but I could understand their perspectives more than if it was 10 years ago and it was that, because we'd be super separated. Like, I mean, especially from us being the way we look, like, we wouldn't even be able to understand, like, I can tell the difference between someone from Mexico City and El Salvador, like, even that. Like, things used to be so separated back in the day, but in 2019, we
blending. Especially in Houston, this is like one of the most diverse
Houston's
cities.
a big gumbo at this point.
Yeah.
A melting pot, like, of different
Well,
cultures.
Klaus, since we were talking about shows, and actually, I don't know if he's told you about this, Amalie. You still planning on writing that musical about women?
Oh,
you were
yeah.
talking about?
Actually, wanted to, since you're, like, into theater and stuff and, like, screenplaying, I'm actually working on a pretty controversial musical. So I'm writing a musical about basically posing the question, what would the world be like if women ruled it more than men? So essentially, I'm going to like study all the different major events in history and like reverse them essentially. And then I'm going to also tie in the 7 continents, but I'm going to get a different woman from each continent, and they're going to represent like each continent. So Africa is going to be like one girl, like Antarctica, like every like single portion. Antarctica may be a little bit difficult because there's not really, but
you got to find a female scientist. You can find a female scientist from Antarctica. Like when you said earlier about you grew up around women, I grew up around nothing but women. Like my mom used to have a beauty shop back in the day. So I was raised literally just hearing literally like just so much at one point. I mean, that's gonna be hilarious. Like,
it's gonna be pretty great. But it's not. I mean, I'm definitely gonna have some comedy in it to like make it more of a light mood. But it's been something I've been building up the storyline for about a year now, and I'm thinking of getting like some type of. Basically, I'm gonna try to like interview. I've done up to 200 interviews, but I'm trying to interview like 2,000 women before I actually start like trying to cast and all that stuff. But trying to see if I can go to like see like women CEOs, because like actually the company that I work for, the temp agency, it's like owned and operated by mainly women. It's like Primary Services. Y'all probably heard of it. They're like staffed and owned by women and stuff, and it's really great to see like that women have like kind of like got into the workplace and like been able to get past. Because if you look at like Susan B. Anthony and the suffrage movements and how women are still looked at, as objects, and it goes super deep. But I'm going to touch on all that. And honestly, like, I feel like it's something that could really change, like, the perspective, like, of how women are looked at in society. Because even in most cultures, like, it's still kind of, like, they're still kind of playing catch up. And it's like, why would they have to be, like, oppressed in that way when they're the ones, without women, we wouldn't even be here. Like, without that, birth canal. Like, it's like y'all essentially have portals within your interior structure. Like, I can go all day, but like, it's crazy like that you have to go through all this stuff, and it's like without women, the guy who oppressed you or the cultures who oppressed women wouldn't even exist, because without birth, you know what I mean, you wouldn't be a thing. So
that sounds amazing. I think it's important that you do something like that. I have sons. I hope they grow up and they want to do things like that.
Yeah.
After they've been raised around all these crazy women with really good intentions.
I mean, what's crazy in 2019, at least, I know we only about 20 days in. but
we're
like,
here though. We're here.
Truthfully, I mean, what's happening so much, especially with social media, is it's a lot more sexism than it's like ever been, at least since I've been on planet Earth. At least that I've noticed now, because I mean, people have just like, men and women have come separated on some things. Honestly, I always attribute it to a lack of knowledge at the end of the day. It don't matter what angle you from. It don't matter, switching things right and wrong. If you don't have a knowledge from somebody else's perspective, you just going to be dumb to everything that they talking about. So y'all ain't ever going to click. That's like me. I'm saying that's like me trying to put a AAA battery in a PS4 controller. Like, it's just not.
It just doesn't work. There's no place to put
I'm
it.
saying exactly. So there's no place to put this. Like we're not gonna get anywhere with this. So it's like a lot of times men are completely oblivious to what women have to go through physically, mentally.
Even with menstruation, like just that fact alone, y'all like how can
talking
you
about
live?
this?
Yeah,
Well, I'm
sorry,
saying
just
that,
that fact that y'all have to go through that, and like y'all are still living, you're
Telling you,
bleeding, and you're
I know.
still living as you're bleeding, and you're having to deal with like symptoms.
I
and-
have like this whole theory that it's actually a disease.
what's a disease?
Yeah, there's actually
Menstruation, like I have this whole like if you compare it to like symptoms and this and that and lifelong and how you get it and how it does, like there's all these things, but that's just the writer in me who can
But
totally compare it to.
it's also
it should be
sometimes
classified as such because it's terrible.
no yeah.
And you're right.
No,
Thank
like
you. All the things you
sometimes
said,
though,
thank
like
you.
I don't think some women consider some male perspectives, especially like men that have to go through abuse, and I mean go through like stuff like that, because that could be a terrible. Just I mean, when you talk about a male that's abused or in some type of situation
I
that's
agree with that
demasculating.
100%.
And like nobody talks about that shit. Like I'm talking when I was in high school, because I mean just being a short person, I've been 5'7" since my sophomore year of high school. It ain't it ain't short than nothing I'm trying to accomplish in life. But you know, people always, you know, oh, you're short, you know, oh, life must be tough. It's been great. Like
People
I ain't
say
never had a
that,
problem.
like-
Yeah, like,
That's crazy.
it ain't never been a problem for me. So like when I was in high
Just
school,
like that.
I would see guys like take so much just mud from other guys. Like, you know, when people just throwing mud on one another, like especially when we're in high school, we kids and stuff, like
Taking it on.
they were throwing mud on kids, and I'm like, y'all don't even know what this guy's going back home to, like what he, because you don't know what people going through. Like, it would be crazy. It blew me away how in public school, how people, you know, they would go so hard on somebody and then get back on the bus. Those same kids would just get on the bus. I mean, they going back home. Like, you don't know how far they going home. You don't know how far they gotta walk. You don't know
Thinking
who's
about
at
my
the
kids,
house.
I'm all sad.
You don't know what they
That
going
something's
through.
gonna
Like,
happen.
let alone you don't know. Y'all got class together and you trying to copy his homework, so you don't know his homework and you don't know the assignment. But now you know been ranking on this dude, giving him such a hard time. Like, yeah, I only got bullied by one dude in high school. His name was D Smooth. And he was a super ghetto guy. Like this, when I tell y'all, I'm glad I didn't make this guy a super enemy or anything. It was nothing but God's grace, because he just would have, you know, probably robbed me or some crazy shit. Like he was about that life.
So it sounds like he owns a car shop.
Yeah,
D car wash.
Come get your motors today from D Smooth.
Look, he was D Smooth from Dallas, bro. This dude, what was crazy, my cousin, he thought I was trying to talk to his girlfriend. And his girlfriend had a twin. And I was trying to tell him that I was talking to her sister, and they shared a phone. So there was just so much that could go wrong in this situation.
It's a classic situation.
I'm like, how y'all twins and y'all sharing a phone? That's some super broke shit.
Keep
Like,
it
I don't know what
interesting.
y'all doing. Like, somebody needs to get slapped. But anyways, I'm going to wood shop, and I have on my 4 times my size backpack. And I'm walking down the hallway, and I hear, there he go right there. And I turn around, and it's my cousin telling D Smooth where I'm at. And I'm saying, my cousin, my blood cousin.
Yeah,
y'all.
that's
Like, exactly. And he has his phone out. My cousin's ready for World Star. Yeah, that's me. That's his mom's right here, ready to record me. And I mean, D Smooth came at me and he pushed me down, and I landed like a turtle, and I had to get my backpack off of me, and I ain't know nothing about no throwing hands. This dude was like a senior. I was a freshman. He was fighting me. I'm
He was
telling
looking
y'all,
for
like,
you.
this is crazy. Like, this is just hitting me all at once, crazy. And
It's a setup.
I defended myself. I swung a couple times, and teacher came out. It was a guy who was cool, and he ended up like getting them away from me. But D Smooth ended up going to jail for about 35 years. For,
Oh, man.
yeah, attempted murder. Yeah, no,
Jeez.
like robbery. Yeah, no. It was about like 5 years after we, you know,
dodged
all of
it,
this.
man.
Karma.
Yeah.
Karma's
he
real,
was,
man.
but I mean, you know, I don't know what that man been through in his life. You know, like, even with me knowing, you know, the perspective, I'm like, you know,
What were we talking about? We were talking about
men and women.
men, yeah, people not understanding that men can be abused as well. We were
Yeah,
just talking
definitely.
about that the other day, and I definitely think that's a thing. And I
Bullying-
worry about my
bullying is
kids. I have to
wrong.
tell them they need to talk to me about how they're feeling, how people are making them feel. Never feel bad for because we've got sons, 3 boys, and like my worst fear is them not knowing how to talk about something because that's gonna follow them in life.
Yeah, bullying is
And-
real nowadays,
and it
especially
is, and-
online and stuff. With their age group, because they
they ain't
they
allowed
getting
on that
on early, like they getting on Instagram, Facebook.
Already,
as
yeah.
kids, like they 10
Not
years
my
old.
kids.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like you be surprised. You got some people that allow their kids 8, 9,
Oh, I
10 making Instagram, post all the time.
Oh yeah, there's like a
YouTube.
7-year-old kid that came to the deli the other day. He had he's like 7 or 8 years old. This dude had like an iPhone 10,
Don't-
and he's just like on it. And I'm like, what?
I know kids with YouTube channels out here, and their
That's
parents
crazy.
are just like, "Oh, we're letting them do whatever they want." I'm like, if I was a parent, I might be young, but if I was a parent, and I completely understand how the internet is nowadays, I'm not letting my child
no,
post
my
on
kids-
there. I ain't letting them
No
post
way.
no background.
I
Like,
freaked out. They posted on mine. I didn't even know I had like a channel like that for like years. I just was saving stuff, and
I
then
would
like
just be
they posted
terrified.
something, and I freaked out.
Yeah.
on them. I sure did.
I'm terrified. Like, I watch too much To Catch a Predator. Like,
Oh man, dude, people.
That's
people
it's
I'm
out
ready to
there.
catch a
All
dude,
that's
like-
out
well,
there.
that's the people do crazy
We
stuff,
can't
man.
talk
Like,
about it. We get worked up.
yeah. Well, I
As a
mean,
parent, I
yeah,
get all freaked
yeah.
out.
It's so
Why don't you
crazy.
have a seat right here?
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like literally, like it's man, like
Nah, man. Like I think the weirdest one I saw was like there were it's like a kid with a microphone close to it. And it's like a kid eating food, and it's
Oh,
like it's
like
like
the
the ASMR.
Yeah.
But it's like a
Yeah.
kid doing it, but it's like a young kid, and I'm like, yo, I know this kid did not set up this nice camera with this nice microphone
Who's
and is downloading stuff. And I was like, bro, someone's putting their kid in front of this microphone eating food, and you know that some weird dudes in his house like, oh,
Oh my God!
Oh, look
Stop!
at
You're
this.
freaking me
Yeah,
out.
that's trippy.
it's real shit
You
though.
should see me grill my kids in about what they're doing, and they're just playing like Roblox, and I'm like, you don't talk to anybody you don't know, and you got
Yeah.
2 kids
There you
that
go.
you know
Let
from
'em know.
school on Roblox.
Let 'em
And they'll
know.
be like, no, there's this guy, and I'm like, no.
It's a real problem. They said the world's running out of issues. I'm like, it's plenty being created. Need to tackle.
Yeah,
Take
like
everybody.
how to finish this musical. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, Cloud, I got part of the show, man. Towards the end, closing out. If you had where we try to like, as I said at the end of my values page, there we try to inspire people to maybe people that aren't, they don't think they're good enough or they don't think what their art is good enough. What would you say to them to keep pushing and keep going forward and to believe in what they're doing?
Yeah, so what I would say to anybody out there who's like either an inspiring artist or just thinking about getting your art out there, don't be afraid to fail because it may not be something that you're like super good at, but the most important thing is just trying, because trying will get you at least the ability to learn, and I feel like that's what we're here for at the end of the day, and like creatives especially. I feel like we're here to just make the journey a little bit easier. And if you can do that in any way, even if, you may not be the best rapper or singer or actor, but as long as you're doing something to better yourself, or maybe, you could still end up touching someone, even if you're not the best at what you do, somebody else is going to see it and they're going to get inspired. And that's all it takes is that one person. And if you can get that one person to get inspired and get, revved up or happy or made their day, then you did something, that was meaningful, in your life. So that's what I would say to someone who's scared or, worried that they aren't good enough. Just know that you are good enough, because the fact that you exist means that you're here for a purpose. And that's the most important thing. So,
Oh, well, cool, man. Appreciate it. It's very nice, very inspiring.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate everybody on. Do you guys have any closing remarks you might want to let out? Any inspiring things you want to instill in the public to stay on their path?
Just show up. Go put yourself in it. Immerse yourself in what you're passionate about. If you want to write more, read more, write more. You want to do poetry? Go to the open mics. You think you can't do it? Just go experience it because I promise you can do it. Just do it.
Well, actually, speaking of open mic, do you want to plug the Proletariat open mic real quick?
Oh, yeah. So, if you're not familiar, I'm sure y'all are now. I'm with Coast to Soul, so we do an open mic the first and third Tuesdays of every month. And you can find us at the Proletariat. Sign-up sheet goes out at 8. It's open to everybody. We usually have features coming from all over. Tonight was Cloudstyle. Terrell, he was our feature. And it was super fire, so you just got to come check it out for yourself and maybe share something.
Sauce Beezy, you got any...
Man, shoot, I want to Tell everybody to keep continuing to have a blessed 2019. And if anybody is any aspiring actors out there, keynote to be able to do, you can make a account on Actors Access right now. It is free. It's easy to get some headshots on there and upload a free reel, and you can start booking a lot of auditions in the Southeast region here in the South and for Atlanta as well. And shoot,
you can tape your own auditions on there and submit them. Yeah.
Any other acting secrets or gems you need, follow Sauce Beezy on Instagram. I can tell you a lot. If you know anybody in California, I can direct you to a laundry list of acting coaches as well.
And definitely follow me on Instagram as well at Terrell Cloud.
You spell that for him?
TerellCloud. So definitely
One word.
get me on there. Yeah, one word. One love, one mic, all that good stuff. So,
all right, y'all. This was fun. This is cool. We got
cool.
to do this
Thank
again
you.
sometime. Yes, you're
Definitely.
welcome. You're welcome. All right, Artisan Dev Podcast. Terrell.
Well, a lot of people like to call me LB. If
LB.
not,
I'm just gonna go with LB.
Yeah, Sauce Beezy on Instagram and on
Various identities.
Yeah, no, I got a couple. I got a couple aliases. Yeah, and Frank Deuce on Facebook.
Frank Deuce on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, Terrell Cloud, Frank Deuce, LB, Amalie. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good night. Like, subscribe, comment at D Mahaney Art, DMAHANAYART. Thank you very much. We out. You've been listening to the Artisan Dev Podcast, motivating creative minds through artistic exploration. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to give us a rating or a positive review. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at vonpatrickarts@gmail.com. That is VONPATRICK@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you.